Well, the Indian Coast Guard has clarified that a news report on the Pakistan rogue boat operation is factually incorrect. The Coast Guard has said that the Deputy Inspector General DIG Loshali has in fact submitted a rejoinder and denied having said that it was he who gave the orders for the Pakistani vessel to be blown up. The news report appeared in a national daily this morning. In this news report, the Deputy IG DIG Loshali is quoted as having admitted that the Coast Guard blew up the Pakistani vessel, which the Coast Guard had discovered, and owning up to its responsibility of having issued the orders himself.
I have received a rejoinder from DIG DIG Loshali. And he has indicated very specifically that it is not factual. This is the statement of DIG Loshali himself, and he said that he does not subscribe to the text of whatever has been indicated. And he also goes on to say that he has not made this statement.
Jugal Purohit is now joining us with more details on that rather controversial story. Now, Jugal, there was already skepticism over this whole operation. Does this now put the situation for the government in a worse sort of situation? Will Manohar Parrikar himself have to clarify now, perhaps?
You see, Maha, this particular story that we had broken on the 2nd of January has now taken a different turn altogether with this report in the National Daily, where this DIG DIG Loshali, who is not just any other DIG, but he's the Chief of Staff of the region where this incident took place. He has said that I ordered the men on the boat to blow that Pakistani boat off because we didn't want to take on more prisoners and feed them biryani. These are the words. Of course, as expected, the Indian Coast Guard has issued a rejoinder, has said that he has never made these statements whatsoever. The key remains on, and the onus is now in fact on the Daily to prove that such remarks were indeed made. However, notwithstanding all of this, Maha, the Defence Minister had gone out of his way on the 2nd of January when we broke the story to say that he personally wanted to congratulate the team which had executed this task, where, according to the Defence Ministry, the crew had lit up the boat, set it on fire, and then the boat sank. The Defence Minister personally stepped in. He had staked his own credibility on the Coast Guard by saying that he personally congratulated the ship Rajratan, which was there on the spot, and any disclosure of the kind that this daily has claimed will hit Parrikar personally and his credibility of not just himself, the Ministry of Defence, but also the Government of India. It's an international issue which we are discussing out here. Maha, at around 1 p.m. is when the Defence Minister will be meeting the press, and definitely we will be putting this question across to him. But this is yet another reminder for the Defence Ministry, which had initially promised to clarify each and every aspect of this operation, which it hasn't done till now. This is a wake-up call, because in the absence of there being no answers, more questions will definitely rise, Maha.
Jugal, we'd request you to stay on with us. We have with us on the phone line Wing Commander Praful Bakshi. Wing Commander Bakshi, the difference in the difference in the narration of what actually happened is not just coming from the Coast Guard, but from the Defence Ministry itself now. Do you think it is time for the government to come out clear on what exactly happened, and why are these different voices emanating if the sequence of events, as India puts it, was what everybody knows?
To start with, let me clarify one thing absolutely clearly, that what happened that night happened as per the correct security procedures.
Okay.
The standard operating procedures of Coast Guard were 100% correct. The rules of engagement, the terms of engagement were absolutely correct. Now, question is, what happened to those people who killed them or who didn't kill them, who attacked them or who didn't attack them? It is a secondary issue. The primary issue is, were they the enemy of the nation? Were they violating the security of the nation? Was our sovereignty being violated and attacked? It was. That is why, if I was the Coast Guard, I would have done the same thing.
But Wing Commander Bakshi, there's these different narrations that are coming out from the Coast Guard and the Defence Minister really put a whole realm of skepticism over this whole operation. Is that not so?
You see, that comes because there is that of understanding with the department because there is lack of communication with the department that happens. When there is a barrier to communication,
All right, let me go across to Priyanka Chaturvedi, spokesperson of the Congress party. Ms. Chaturvedi, do you think it is time for the government to come out and give its version yet again? Manohar Parrikar has already spoken about it, but his version is very different from what the DIG Coast Guard had to say, although he's taken back and issued a rejoinder on that issue.
We've been maintaining this, that considering that we talk about transparency, we talk about, being transparent as far as operations are concerned, we have raised a few questions, not just us, many defense experts, many defense analysts have also raised some questions with regards to the entire terror boat activity that happened around that night. Now, considering that the defense minister has said something like they blew the boat up, while we have a DIG saying that he ordered the boat to be blown off. So these are some questions as far as the coordination between the Defence Ministry and the Coast Guard is concerned. Is there a coordination which is lacking, or is there something that the Defence Minister should have come clean about and hasn't? So some questions arise. We do not challenge our Coast Guard. We will never do that. But we need to know what exactly happened. Was it a version that the government was trying to peddle about it being a terror boat, considering that no action has been taken, no MEA has gone to Pakistan to complain about something like this? So some questions were asked of the government. We were called anti-nationals, we were called various words were used against anybody questioning this. But now questions do arise and you have two separate versions out in the open. Which is the right version? Doesn't the nation need to know?
All right, Priyanka, many thanks for speaking with Headlines today. Let's now quickly listen in to another voice from the Congress party, Manish Tiwari. Jugal Purohit is still with us, joining us with the latest. Jugal, Wing Commander Bakshi, if you heard him there, said that it was the right move by the Coast Guard to have perhaps blown up the ship, as was the version which has now been again rectified by the Coast Guard, saying by issuing a rejoinder to that. In a situation like this, is it even more important for the government to come out and give the right version to the public?
Absolutely, Maha. You see, we cannot perhaps accuse the government of not providing a version. It had issued a version on the 2nd of January explaining the incident. But what has, in fact, caused a lot of controversy and allowed more questions to prevail are the number of questions that have emerged from this particular case. We've been reporting on the story, and the very fact that something or the other is cropping up at all times. The Defence Minister had spoken to Headlines today and said immediately after this incident, he said that in a matter of few days we will be wrapping up the entire inquiry as soon as possible and making everything public, including the photographs, including the video, because we believe there is nothing to hide. Now, if that be so, and if the Defence Minister is to be held by his word, then where exactly is that response from the Defence Ministry? It's been more than a month and a half that has gone by, but the Defence Ministry is yet to come out with that clarification, is yet to issue those photographs or the videos. Now, this particular comment by the DIG has only further intensified, notwithstanding the fact that the Coast Guard is retracting it, but this has only intensified the entire questioning about just the government's conduct in this, the Coast Guard's conduct in this, because mind you, this is not a local issue, this is not a domestic issue, it's an international issue. We are talking about accusing a neighboring country of having attempted what they did in the 26/11 attacks, a maritime intrusion, and to have no clear answers and having several questions being raised all about it is definitely not in national interest. Back to you.
Jugal, stay with us. Let's quickly listen into one more reaction that we're getting on the story. Jugal, I'd like to ask you one question. I don't know if I'm putting things correctly over here, or if I may have perhaps gone wrong in my assessment, but could the DIG perhaps have been boasting, or may have been a little boastful while saying that it was he who had ordered the ship to be blown up? Is that a possibility, or are people in that position extremely responsible when they make statements from the podium?
Well, Maha, we have no other option but to assume the latter option, which is to take every word coming from a Deputy Inspector General who is the Chief of Staff of the Northwestern region in which Gujarat falls very, very seriously. Every single alphabet of what he said matters, and there is no two ways about the fact that he needs to be taken very, very seriously. After all, going by hierarchy, he is the number 2 in that organization, and even if it is bravado, even if it is simply boasting of claims which are unfounded, then he obviously needs to be pulled up for making them on a public fora.
Okay.
So that's really the point. Notwithstanding the rejoinder, the real question is how can such a senior authority make a statement of this sort,
Right.
and why is it that the Defence Ministry is not following up with actions on what the Defence Minister had promised, a full-fledged clarification on this case? Back to you.
All right, so but let's quickly tell our viewers that the rejoinder states that what the DIG said was not factually correct. Jugal May, thanks for joining us with